On the podcast today, we have real estate royalty, one of the top producing real estate agents in the world. Based here in Los Angeles, she is fabulous. She's done some of the biggest sales in the world, including the mansion to the Minecraft developer. Also, she represented the Spelling Mansion and a whole host of other gorgeous, lovely properties here in Los Angeles. Yes, it is none other than Sally Forster Jones, and she's going to be my guest coming up right after this.
Lorimer Podcast.
Greetings and welcome to the podcast. I dare say that this is actually an extra special version of the podcast today. We have, and I mean this actually very, very sincerely, we have real estate royalty, ladies and gentlemen. We have the queen of luxury real estate. Now, everybody on the planet in real estate already knows Sally Forster Jones. But in case you have been living on the moon for a while, I'm just going to give you, I can't even recap it all. There's that much. But voted as the #1 luxury team by Inman, you have sold I can't even get my head around this, a mind-blowing 5,500 transactions. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these are gigantic sales. We're not selling condos in Boise. Not that there's anything wrong with selling condos in Boise. These are 5,500 significant properties. You hold the record. You held the record for the highest sale with the Spelling Mansion in Los Angeles. You sold the absolutely, a lot of the properties you sell are delicious, but the delicious Minecraft Mansion in Beverly Hills, which was another landmark sale. Your career really just has one benchmark after the next. And to people who are listening to this or watching this, they're like, well, this is SFJ. You know, she's a goddess. I'm never gonna get there. But you did start with one sale, right? So what I know you're from New York. I want people to hear it from you. So what was your evolution? How and I'm going to end with this, and then I'm going to shut up and let you talk. So you are the guest. How do you remain, #1, always so lovely? Every time I've encountered you, you have been delightful. And I mean that's the perfect word. You are the consummate professional, but yet you keep hitting gold medals one after the next. How does one grow a career, and then how do you keep it going as amazingly as you have done? So welcome to the show, Sally.
Well, thank you, Peter. I don't even know where to go from here because, that was such a build-up. So I want to meet this person. My first sale was somewhere like maybe, I don't know, just $20,000-$30,000, and not a big sale. It was a small sale in the San Fernando Valley, and it was at the time when real estate was going up. Real estate does have its cycles, and this was buying something where I had, where I was involved as an investor myself, and prices went up. And so it was like, okay, this is really, really good. I really like being in real estate on an upswing. So it started with just something really very modest, and very many more sales. What happened with me was I started investing, and I had a few friends who looked at this and wanted to invest with me. And so we started that, and I said, okay, if I'm going to be investing, I should get my real estate license so that I'm in at the just really at entry level. So I did that, and just it went from one sale to more sales on a very entry level basis. And what I did after that was I started surrounding myself with more people who were just on a more affluent. And so the sales then went from people that I knew, and then those went well, and was referral sources, and it just went to bigger and bigger sales. And what I realized was that it's equally, a deal is a deal. And it's just as, you have still people, you have homes, you have the same issues, the same escrow situations on the entry level as you do on the luxury.
Right.
And so why not do luxury? So that is how it evolved really to luxury.
So you raise a couple of points, which I remember having a similar kind of evolution. Funny enough, my first deal was in the San Fernando Valley. So for those people who don't know LA, the San Fernando Valley, I guess for all intents and purposes, is the New Jersey of LA, right? Kind of. And then how do you said you surrounded yourself with more affluent people. If an agent's out there going, well, I want to break into luxury, where do I find affluent people? Where would they go?
Yeah. So it's really the first thing is a mindset and making that a goal. So you look at that and say, okay, if I can sell, just, entry level, same skill set, why not sell a higher price point and just give yourself a raise in your paycheck. So that's the first decision, is just looking at that and saying, this is what I want to do. And then you consciously, I can't say it was 100% conscious, but that's how it goes. And that's how it evolved, is I looked at and say, okay, where do I go? Who do I see? Is there charities? Are there different places that I would go and mingle with people who are, just more affluent? So that's really the first thing, is the mindset. And the second is coming up with a game plan on where and how you really meet those people.
You have a phrase which I live and die by, which is real estate is a relationship business. There are so many gadgets and apps and Zillow and Open Door and all of these myriad of digital platforms. What's your philosophy? Do you get all of your business through word of mouth? Do you do any Zillow? What's your kind of slice? How do you slice up your pie of business?
Yeah. It's I don't do Zillow. It's really relationship. One thing leads to another. Just in the time of open houses, initially when I started out, I did open houses, but I made every moment count. So
right.
And that again is relationship. It's being in the moment. It's really listening and caring about whoever you're talking to. And then people love to talk about real estate. Really, everyone lives somewhere, wherever that is. They all are interested and coming up with, just a scenario, a story, something that was of interest. So there's always a topic of conversation. Real estate is on everyone's mind, and they can relate to it. So it's a very easy conversation. So it's really, but it's caring about who you're talking to and really being focused in the moment.
Right. It's funny. I was talking about that with someone yesterday about, they were saying, Pete, how do you handle new clients and how do you act? What way are you meant to be? And I said, look, you have to act, you have to be yourself. But one technique that I've always used, and you just nailed it, Sally, is you got to care. And I've always imagined the client opposite me is a family member or a distant family, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my uncle, my niece. And when I get into that mindset, you can look someone in the eyes and you can deliver bad news with no fear of losing them as a client or no fear of losing the escrow, because you know more than anyone. You deal at such a high level that there really is no margin for error. The dollar amounts are 50, 60, 70, beyond million. And so how do you deliver polarizing, sometimes devastating news to clients on such a high value property?
Yeah. It's one is really just looking at them and saying, and you understanding how they really feel and not just being glib about it. When you're delivering bad news, you have to recognize it's bad news and that they are going to feel bad about it, and just putting it out there and just being there with them that, yes, this really is bad news. and you are really feeling bad about it because, as which is not unexpected. And then, and understanding and caring, and then how to then go about solving it or rectifying it or not. What do you do at that moment to first is really understanding sincerely how they feel and caring about that, and then trying to really come up with a solution together where you can guide them, but the solution has to really come from them,
Right.
in the end, and how to solve it in the end with, and each person's different. Someone's, just recognizing that. So, someone may blow up, and but if you care and they know that you're being they're being understood, that goes a long way.
For sure. In many ways, Sally, do you think it's fair to say it's kind of this? It's the same as when you were first selling houses. Bad news is bad news, and if you permit me, I'll give you a kind of an analogy. I remember when I sold my first $5 million house, and I remember walking. I never sold anything near that price. This is 10, 15 years ago. I remember walking across the threshold with the client, and he was in front of me. My hands were shaking because I'm like, oh my God, I'm out of my depth. I'm out of my depth. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God, he's going to see. And I put my hands behind my back. And then I kind of gave myself a good talking to, and I said, it's okay. It still has a master bedroom. It still has a kitchen. It still has a lawn out the back. It's just bigger and nicer. And your job is to be of service and to walk him, it was a guy at that time, but walk through this property and just cater to all of his needs. And I found it amazing that kind of philosophy translates all price points. Like, I'm sure there are people listening going, there must be some secrets of handling a $50 million client versus a $500,000 client. What are your thoughts on that?
It's there really is not that much of a difference. Just the for each person, whether it is the $500,000 purchase or the $50 million purchase, this is very personal to them. It is a big deal. It's a big deal. Their home is a big deal. That's where you have, particularly now with COVID, it's become, your home has become everything. But it is a big deal, and so recognizing that, and no matter what, even the most expensive home where you go in and you say, oh my gosh, what could anyone find, wrong? It has everything on a, there's still compromises. It's still not every single thing that someone wants because their expectations are different. But overall, it's still a home, and a home has, either it appeals to you an emotional level, is your lifestyle and how you connect with it, and that's really what it's all about. It really is, in the end, it's all about lifestyle and how that buyer is going to feel and imagine themselves being and living and experiencing in that particular home and environment.
For sure. Very often I like to say we don't just sell homes, we sell emotion.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional experience,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's residential real estate, which is emotional. It's emotional. It's not about, I mean, it's dollars and cents. Yeah. But that's secondary. It
Right.
is an emotional experience. Either you connect and you can imagine yourself there, or you don't.
Yeah, and that's why I love it. I mean, I don't like commercial because it is just unemotional for the most part, but residential I love. Now, you are a woman of, you have many strings to your real estate bow because you kind of transitioned from being a real estate agent, and then you then went into development, and you have several I mean, every year you have properties that you are invested in as an investor, and they're substantial. So I find that very inspiring, that not only do you sell real estate, but you put your money where your mouth is, and you step up and you design and you develop. And it is high risk. I mean, Beverly Hills, Hollywood Hills, this is high stakes poker. What's the journey, the evolution? I know you started as an investor. What was your evolution in getting into investing in luxury property?
Yeah. Well, this is something that as a realtor, I know and I understand. And I love. So, it's almost natural. And just on the payoff, in the end, we're selling real estate and it has appreciated. And there's always a demand for that. And I love this. So it's really just looking and saying, just even doing a very minor flip, of you come in and you see something and you understand what it is from a value standpoint, and say, okay, if I put some paint and some change this a little bit, what is going to be the appeal to a buyer? So it's a transition that makes sense. Made sense to me. Makes sense to me because I do understand real estate, and it's from an investment point of view, it's like, why would I not invest in something that I understand versus investing in something that I don't? So it's an easy transition. Also, is something that does create wealth in the long run. Commissions are great, and they do pay for my coffee, which I have right here that I'm going to have a sip of. But commissions are great, but really being able to invest in real estate is really just a big payoff on something that we know, we love, and we understand.
Right. So investing is something that I've done my fair share of as well. And I think the key to investing, maybe you'll agree, is leverage, is surrounding yourself with the right team, not just of builders and designers, but also finances. So if someone is, let's use Boise again, somebody's listening to this in Boise, they're a young woman who's inspired by you and she wants to be you. How would someone who has vision and has aspirations and has a good eye, where would they find a backer or where would they find a financial partner?
Yeah. Well, it's, this is where I'm going to just say, you have to believe in what you're saying and what you're doing and have that vision and then be, we're salespeople and being able to articulate that. So, if we're able to sell to a buyer who's coming through the door, that we're selling them a home and a dream and a lifestyle, then from an investor standpoint, we have to paint that same picture with the same enthusiasm and conviction and understanding and just all of that on a even more just more of a level, but that's really what it is. It's understanding what you're doing, coming up with a game plan that you believe in and that you can articulate and that you have support for, and then go and reaching out. It's out there. It's
Right.
then you look for that. For your,
And
hacking.
there'll be 100 doors that slam where maybe there might be one that creaks open and then you have to sell.
Yeah.
So we've talked about there are so many triumphs in your career. There are so many benchmarks. There are so many homes that have set records. What is one of the biggest mistakes that you've made on your journey to becoming a successful real estate entrepreneur?
Yeah. Well, there's changes throughout. Some of these successes, some of the failures become successes, and how you solve them. So the initial start of mistake, I'm going to say, is wanting to do everything and wanting to control the process, control the situation, to where everything from showing the property, finding the property, showing the property, answering the telephone, doing an escrow, doing the marketing, doing everything, and then looking and saying, you know what, I need to stick with what I am best at, and then get help, surround myself and rely on other people and trust that I can rely on them to be of support to me. So that is, just getting an assistant that is really valuable and empowering them to actually pick up the telephone for you or answer your calls or or do anything that you are not, that's not your forte, so that you can really focus on the things that you are best at and that only you can do. And so that's an evolution. So I'm going to say, the mistake I made really was taking too long and not trusting that I can trust and rely and empower others. But so that was a big, that was a big step.
Yeah, and it's scary, right? When you're because in real estate, like in all sales, you eat what you kill, and so when you start having your first few sales, and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm slammed. I need an assistant," and making that leap and putting someone on salary is a terrifying moment. But I too concur that it is the best decision someone can make. It's belief in oneself. It's self-belief that you'll be able to support yourself and your employee.
Yeah. The first, you go and say, just particularly, there are cycles right now. There's very little, inventory. The market is, is strong. But in different cycles, it's not always an upswing, and it's not always, as frenetic. And just having the confidence that, am I ever going to sell another property? Can I really have, support, let's say an assistant, and focus on, on just really what I can do best. It comes with, the trust and the belief in yourself that you really will sell another property, that wherever it is, there will be, and that comes again in the trust in yourself.
So this is such an important point in our conversation, because I see a lot of agents, not just agents, a lot of professionals fail because of, well, fear of failure. So therefore they become paralyzed, or actually fear of success. I see some young agents who are having a run, and then they freak out and they go, "Oh my God, I'm going to lose what I've got," and then it all comes tumbling down. We all have insecurity demons. I know I do. I am sure you must. How do you work through insecurities? Like, if you've ever had a moment of like, "Oh my God, should I have bought that house? Oh my God, what do I do? Is it ever going to sell?" How do you work through your own insecurities, if you have them?
Yeah, well, of course I have them, and everyone, as you said, everyone has them, and it's and just the first thing I do is cry. No, I'm just joking, but it's like
Me too.
my hands. No, I'm actually I'm actually pretty even keeled, and so that's lucky for me. But you have those insecurities, and it's just just talking your way through. A lot of the self talk and just saying, yes, it's only a deal. Yes, it is. This really is bad. I hate the fact that I was counting on this commission and this deal happening, and the inspections were horrible, and this happened and it's not happening. And so you see the dollar sign, so it is, or the dollar sign's actually going out the window,
Right.
but it's just going through the process and accepting that this is really, yes, this is bad. I really do feel bad. I don't like this, but I will move on, and I will, there will be another deal. So, are you, on when you have only one escrow and you've worked really hard on that, and you see that, just going up in flames, it's hard. It's hard. And so just to keep, but just working that through, and just keeping, just going back to basics. For me, the basics were always, just really prospecting, and just,
Mhm.
just reaching out and talking to people no matter what. And just, just going through and going back to, if I do, the networking or the outreach, or, all of those things, I will have another deal. I will. This is just, one, and we keep moving on. Some make and some don't. And
Right.
but it's just going back to the basics of what is the process to get that business. And if you stick to the process, it will happen. You just have to keep doing it.
Right. This too shall pass, and then we will live another day. But you mentioned the word, one of my favorite words, which is prospecting. So even though you do it in your way, networking, dinners and charities and whatever, it is still prospecting, right? I'm a huge believer that I would much rather work within a sphere that I know, sort of know, might know, could know, than attempt to work with complete strangers through the internet. So do you still consider, even at your level, Sally, do you still consider when you're out going to events prospecting?
Yeah. I prospect every day. That
God bless.
I look at that as, my job,
Mhm.
because I can, and I do. I have help with marketing. I have help with paperwork. I have help with escrows. I have help with all the things that I am not the best at. Having someone who's, do marketing for me infinitely better than the marketing materials that I would produce. Okay, so my job is prospecting. That is my primary job. If I prospect, I know there will be business. And so I prospect every single day. And I don't delay and I don't put it off. And I start, that is my job. That is my primary job. And I do not, let a day go by that I am not prospecting and just really making myself accountable for that. So it is that I look at as, if as long as I prospect, the business will come.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to rewind that last 30 seconds. You need to turn it into a GIF, put it on your phone. Sally is one of the top real estate professionals on earth, and she is prospecting every single day. There are no magic bullets. We can't just pull huge deals out of the internet. It's all about relationships. And this lovely, lovely lady who is just uh, known throughout the whole world as one of the finest real estate professionals has just given you the secret to growing a successful business. And it is all prospecting. Thank you so much for saying that, Sally.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, no, it's absolutely, it's the number one. It is the number one most important thing that you can do.
Um, we are running out of time, but there is so much more I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to talk to you about your team. You have a wonderful, large team, which I have seen grow and grow and grow over the years. We've done several deals together, and they've always been the most delightful people to work with. It's like a succinct machine. It's like a Ferrari engine. Everybody talks to each other. It's beautiful. Maybe we'll save that for another time. Maybe I'll have you back on team building on another podcast. I want to talk about what's next, right? Because you're like a hit songwriter that's had 100 number ones. What's next for you? What's coming in 2022, 2023? Where are your ambitions taking you next?
So that's an interesting question because again, when just the whole pandemic and COVID, you spend time just thinking and doing and evolving and um, I have, you mentioned my team. I love my team. I love the people. I love what I do. I love the mentoring. Just all of that. So I get up every morning, and I am, well, almost every morning, and I'm very, really excited, and about what is the day going to bring. And I just love what I do, and so things have, it just really laying out the game plan of am I growing the team further, am I going to other locations, just all of this. So this is in really in the thought process and the planning stage right now. We're coming out of working from home, so I'm looking so forward to working from the office again and having the synergy that brings. Because I do have a team, and all of just the whole brain trust is great, and the social aspects and the cultural aspects. So I'm just looking forward at this moment to bringing that all. It's been great working remotely. We have Zoom, just like we're right now I can see you, and but just going back to the office, having everyone just really working together again, and then looking at just the different opportunities and expansion. But it's very exciting. I mean, I love real estate. Every day really is a different day for me. I never know, no matter how I plan it. exactly how it's going to turn out, because there's always surprises, and some of them are good and some of them are bad, and then working them through. But it's exciting. So the real estate is exciting for me. And so that keeps me moving forward, and looking forward to going back to just some semblance of where we were, as far as office. I don't know about open houses, just where, planning on where it's going to go and how this is going to move forward.
So thank you very much for that, Sally. I think what the thread that is woven through everything that you just said is that you seem to be an innate optimist.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to touch upon this. I'm sure you don't remember this, but when I was a brand new agent, I met you a couple of times, and you were delightful. And I was selling in San Fernando Valley at the time, and you were just like lovely. And then I've done deals with you and your team. I've met you at Inman a number of times, and every single time you have been the same. In Beverly Hills and in Hollywood Hills, we hear stories of agents, throwing tantrums and, stamping their feet and being divas. I have never heard one bad word uttered about you. Quite the contrary, just that you are the loveliest person to work with, that you are, the market probably better than any other agent in the city. And that you just seem to, everyone that works with you in your team, you seem to bring them up. Everybody seems really happy. Some teams and the employees are like, oh my God, get me out of here. Whereas all your team are like, this is great. I love turning up to work every day. And I think that speaks volumes about your leadership, Sally.
Yeah. Well, it's really, I do have, a great team. I'm very, very proud of them. It's a great culture, and culture is critical because, it's something you do and live and breathe all the time. And it's, real estate is competitive. And so it's not that, everyone out there is not nice, and I thank you so much for all those really kind words. I mean, really, really, that's lovely, and I really appreciate. But everyone out there is not necessarily nice, and it is cutthroat, and there are big dollars at stake. And so, having a culture and a safe environment where people care about each other is really the essence of my team. So I know we're not talking team right now. You're going to, but that's it. It's really so important where you're with people that you can trust and care about you. And I am so proud of each and every one of them when they grow and they succeed, and we're all cheering everyone on. So it's a team of cheerleaders. So and that's we're living and breathing this all the time. So we may as well have a really good experience.
Yeah, it's nice to work with people that they have your back. It's a lovely, and I've had that with my company PLG, and now at Corcoran. I'm very blessed to have people that I love and trust. But so, Sally, I'm going to invite you back to talk about team building, because you have one of the best teams in the business. Maybe we can do that on another podcast a few months from now. That would be amazing. On a personal level, what I've said today, none of it is hyperbole. I mean, every single word. You are someone I aspire to be like, and all of your properties, they're just all so frigging gorgeous. And I suppose I have some realtor envy as well, but you are a delight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. And hopefully we will see you again very soon. Sally, thank you so much for being on the podcast. If you want to find out more about Sally Forster Jones, just put the name in Google. There's only one, and you will find her straight away. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Well, thank you, Peter. It's really fun. I love, I think you do an amazing podcast, and I've admired your growth. So we can go and just be mutually admired. No, you've done amazing. You've done amazing, and I think it's fantastic, and I feel honored to be on your podcast. So thank you again.
You're very, very sweet. All right. Well, I'll see you out there, I'm sure, very soon. Thank you for your time, and thank you for everything else. Sally Forster Jones, God bless.
Okay, bye.
That's about it for the podcast this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back again next week with another topic and another great podcast. So don't forget to hit that button and subscribe. Until next time, take care, and I will see you later.